To please settle down. We're about to begin. Could I also request you to please switch your mobile phone, or at least keep it on a silent mode for the duration of the show? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Rajan Anandan, Vice President, Google India and Southeast Asia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for making the time to be with us on this momentous day. A special thank you to our Honorable Finance Minister, Shri Arun Jaitley, for gracing us with your presence today. We're incredibly excited about the announcement we will be making today. But before we get into that, I would like to take a few minutes to give you a sense of what makes India one of the most dynamic and vibrant internet ecosystems in the world. India is going through an incredible transformation powered by the internet. As all of you know, in India today, we have over 400 million internet users, and 300 million of them access the internet on their smartphones. Powered by incredibly affordable data plans, in fact, today we have the world's most affordable data plans, India is embracing the internet in ways that we would have never imagined even a year or two ago. 48% of all airline tickets bought in India today are bought online. And the estimates are that by 2020, over 100 million Indians will buy their air tickets online. 70 million Indians shop online today, and that number is expected to reach 150 million by the year 2020. Online hotel bookings are growing by 200% year on year, and that industry is expected to cross $4 billion by 2020. Already, over 50 million Indians consume educational content online. India now ranks number one globally, with over 1 billion apps downloaded every month from the Google Play Store. This is just a slice of an incredibly vibrant and healthy growing digital economy with huge potential to scale. India is expected to have over 650 million internet users by the year 2020. Google's mission in India is Internet for every Indian. Building an inclusive internet is central to our mission. Whether it's a small sari shop owner in Chandni Chowk or a web developer working from a home, access to the internet is the foundation. Hence, we focused our energy on creating an unparalleled Wi-Fi experience, together with our partners RailTel and the Indian Railways. Today, over 6.5 million Indians use this service. In many ways, this initiative has revived the importance of investing in high-speed public Wi-Fi networks, and we look forward to significantly expanding Google Station, which is our Wi-Fi product, over the near future. We start with access, but we also need to create awareness and educate people on how to use the internet. Our Internet Saathi initiative is now in 100,000 Indian villages. We have over 25,000 full-time Internet Saathis, and they have trained over 10 million women over the past 2 years. The impact that the internet is having on these women and their communities is truly incredible. Next is content in Indian languages. For this, we have tapped into machine learning and artificial intelligence to ensure that every Indian internet user is able to access the internet in their own language. And I'm delighted to say that in the last year, Hindi voice searchers have grown at 400% year on year, a lot of which is a result of our efforts in speech recognition to enable voice input in 8 Indian languages. Across all of these initiatives, our underlying objective is to overcome the barriers that prevent Indians from accessing the full value of the internet. We can't solve these issues by ourselves. This is why we are investing in many ecosystem initiatives, such as training small and medium businesses through our Digital Unlocked initiative and helping startups solve for India. At this juncture, we are incredibly excited about the new opportunities that the internet is opening up in India. We are very encouraged with the deep partnership we have with the Government of India and our many industry partners, and are committed to the government's vision to create a new India. Thank you for your partnership. While we've come a long way, there is still a lot to be done. Now I'd like to invite my friend and colleague Caesar Sengupta, who's the Vice President of Google's Next Billion Users initiative, to talk to you about our plans to build on India's incredible momentum and our brand new product launching today. Thank you, and let's welcome Caesar.
Thank you, Rajan. Namaskar. Welcome, Minister and distinguished guests. I'm Caesar Sengupta, and I lead the Next Billion User initiative at Google. First of all, thank you for taking the time to join us. We have some very exciting announcements for you today. But I'd like to start with giving you a bit of background for today's announcements. A couple of years back, we started the Next Billion User initiative at Google because we noticed that the next billion users of Google's products are going to be very different from our first billion. They're going to be mobile first and largely from India, Indonesia, Brazil, and a few other countries. But most importantly, the environments in which they'll come online won't be the same as those of our existing users. These present interesting new challenges for product companies like Google, but also huge opportunities. So to serve the needs better, we started working on solving the specific challenges our next billion users will face. We built products like Google Station, which Rajan talked about earlier, to improve connectivity, and started making deep changes to our existing products. We made Google Search work much better in Hindi. We added offline capabilities to YouTube and Google Maps. And what was amazing even to us was how well these innovations worked for people around the world. Google Maps offline is as compelling driving on Highway 101 next to our California headquarters as it is on National Highway 8 near here. And today, we're taking our commitment to Indian users to the next level by launching a product that has been made for India first. Thank you. We're very proud of it. We're going through a very exciting time in India right now, and I believe that in our lifetime, we will witness a transformation, a digital transformation of the Indian economy, which will bring growth, create jobs, and make life better for many Indians. And in many areas, we will see India leapfrog the West. One area where this is going to happen is payments and commerce. India today is still a cash-based economy. In fact, the entire value of the online commerce sector, which is growing, is still estimated to be 1% of the total GDP. Most of our transactions are cash. When we buy vegetables or commute in an auto rickshaw, or even when we split a dinner bill with friends. This is because cash is easy. It works everywhere, and in its simplicity lies its power. But cash gets lost. It's cumbersome, and it's actually pretty expensive for the overall economy. And people and businesses that are primarily cash-based have limited access to many powerful services in the formal economy, like credit and insurance. This can change. It has to change, and it will change. The switch from cash to digital is going to happen, just a matter of time. So we wanted to see if we can do something to accelerate this change. But for that to happen, we need something that is as simple as cash, but has all the power of digital built into it. And most importantly, we need a product that can be used by almost anyone, while it's also versatile enough to be used by any business, online and offline. And this is an area where we believe India will leapfrog markets like the US and Europe. We won't see a long period of plastic cards and expensive point-of-sale machines. But instead, this transformation will be powered by something we all carry in our pockets, the smartphone. Our bet is that your smartphone will be your payment instrument, and that it'll also be the device that merchants, big and small, online and offline, use to accept payments. And that is what we've built. So today, I'm very excited to announce a new product by Google. Can anyone guess the name? Tez, a simple and secure way to pay. Thank you. There are 5 key parts to Tez. First and foremost, it's made for India first. We did not start with a product built for another country and then localize it. We looked at what's unique about India and countries like India and built a product specifically for it. Second, Tez lets you transact directly from your bank account, so your money stays in your account, earning interest from your bank. Third, it makes paying someone next to you as simple as handing over cash. Fourth, we've built Tez to facilitate quick transactions between people and businesses you interact with in your life. Last but not the least, we've worked hard to make Tez super secure, thanks to Google's expertise in information and device security. And since we designed Tez for India first, we wanted to ensure that a majority of people whose first language isn't English could also use it with equal ease and simplicity. So in addition to English, Tez is available in 7 of the most used Indian languages: Hindi, Bengali, Gujarati, Kannada, Marathi, Tamil, and Telugu, with many more coming soon. And we built it for both Android and iPhones. And with that, I'd like to introduce Dana Layfield, Vice President of Product Management, on stage to take you through the product in greater detail. Dana is a longtime veteran of emerging markets banking, and we brought her in specifically to help us build Tez. Dana Layfield.
Thank you, Cesar, and thank you all for joining us, Honourable Minister. I've worked on banking and financial products for the last 20 years, and I'm delighted to be here today to introduce Tez to you. So let's talk about the product and show you how it works. As Cesar just told you, Tez enables users to transact instantly, direct from their bank account. That's because Tez is built on top of UPI, the Unified Payments Interface from NPCI. This has several advantages for users. First, in India, the government has made fantastic strides in getting most Indians access to a bank account. So building on UPI means that more people can use it. And because UPI is a common standard, Tez is interoperable. So to use Tez, all you need is an account from any one of India's 55 banks currently on UPI. Secondly, users told us they didn't want the hassle of managing balances in their digital wallets. With Tez, each transaction moves instantly from the sender to the receiver's bank. Thirdly, your money stays in your bank account until you need it, earning you interest and keeping your money safe. Fourth, UPI payments are free on Tez for users, service providers, and small merchants. To create Tez, we've partnered with 4 of India's largest banks: Axis, HDFC Bank, ICICI, and State Bank of India. While Tez works with any account from a bank currently on UPI, this is the first app in India to integrate with multiple payment service providers. This provides a stronger platform for users by creating greater resilience, redundancy, better performance, and more choice for our users. As you can imagine, launching this has been a huge effort in conjunction with our partners. Tez goes live today with Axis, HDFC, and ICICI, with State Bank of India joining soon. Our huge thanks go out to all 4 of them. I also want to thank NPCI, not just for the creation of UPI, but also for our technology partnership, helping us to innovate and make this multi-provider platform happen. Let me start now by showing you around the app. You sign in using your Google account, which means there's no need to remember another password. The first thing I hope you'll notice about this is that it doesn't look like a typical payments app. And that's very deliberate. A couple of things about Tez. First is that it's very simple, and we think it's beautiful. There's no clutter in the screen, just a simple, elegant interface, letting you send or receive payments in the fastest possible time. Second is the way that this interface is organized. Most people, when they're making a payment, don't think first about the mechanics or the amount that they're paying. They think about who they're paying. So we've organized this app around people and businesses. These are represented as circular icons. We call them chat heads. Because payments are almost always part of another interaction, buying something in a store, sending money to a friend, we've organized it as a set of conversations. So you can see all of your interactions with a user or a business simply and clearly. We believe this is a fundamentally different and simpler way of looking at payments. Payments built around you, the people you interact with, and the way you live your life. Tase is integrated with your phone book. So if anyone in your contacts list is using Tase, they'll show up automatically in the Discover section. You can just click on them and pay immediately. There's no need to enter any further details. For people who aren't in your phone book, or where you don't have their contact details, or who aren't yet Tase users, there are a number of other ways to pay. Because Tase is interoperable across UPI, you can simply enter an account number, or you can just enter their UPI ID, scan a QR code, or enter a phone number. Now, let me call on stage Arjita and Ed, two of our product managers, to demonstrate Tase working. We're going to show you three things today: how you pay someone in your contacts, paying someone nearby, and how we're making it easier for merchants and users to do online payments. The phone on the left belongs to Arjita, and the one on the right is Ed's. Let's watch Ed do a transaction. Imagine Ed is sending money to his sister Arjita, who's across the country. Ed finds Arjita in his phone book, taps on the pay button, and types in the amount he wants to send to Arjita. At this point, you'll notice that Ed has the option to add a comment or message, so both he and Arjita know what the money is for. Happy belated birthday. Guess Ed's a bit of a forgetful brother. Ed then authenticates his payment by entering his UPI PIN. While the transaction is processing, we're running multiple security checks in the background to keep both sender and receiver safe. Ed then gets a visible Tase confirmation that the transaction has succeeded, as well as an SMS from his bank showing the notification. At the same time, you'll see that Arjita has also received notifications to show that the money's been deposited in her bank account. One of the most exciting things about Tase, as I mentioned, is the way we group your interactions. You'll see that the conversation between Ed and Arjita reflects not just that last transaction, but all of their previous payments and interactions. This is a much more natural and intuitive flow, and it makes checking that you've paid someone or searching for a historical payment much easier. Paying them again is also quick and simple. We think this is a fantastic way to send money to anyone in your accounts or anybody you pay regularly, whether that's a large payment to your landlord or a small payment to a friend. We talked about cash earlier, about how versatile and simple it is to use. We really wanted to bring that experience to the digital world, almost like handing over a few notes. And now we've made that possible on Tase. We call it cash mode. We'll show you how this would work. In this case, Ed is in the role of a chaiwala called Amit Singh, and Arjita is paying him 18 rupees. Arjita hasn't met him before, so she doesn't have his details or his phone number, but she discovers he has Tase. To make a cash mode transaction, both the payer and the receiver press the big button. As a merchant, Ed slides his button to receive and Arjita's to pay. At this point, the phones now search for each other. And you can see that the chaiwala's chat head has appeared on Arjita's phone. So now she knows she's paying the right person. The remainder of the flow is just like a standard UPI transaction. He enters the amount and her PIN, hits the UPI, and the transaction is processed. Again, security checks are running in the background, and you see an instant confirmation. I know there's a lot to take in here, so let me explain what just happened. With Google's audio QR technology, we use the phone's speaker and microphone to beam a one-time code over ultrasound to allow the two phones to discover each other and pair. Just to be clear, no confidential financial or payment information is passed over ultrasound. It's a pairing mechanism for the phones, and the payment is made directly bank to bank over UPI. And this ensures that the transaction is fast, simple, and completely secure, combining high security with the ease of an on-the-spot transaction. Audio QR needs only a microphone and a speaker, so unlike other forms of pairing, it's not only faster and more secure, but it works on almost all of the smartphones sold in India. You may also have noticed that Arjita did not need to give her phone number or her bank details to the Chaiwala to make this happen. This makes this a great way to pay if you don't want to share personal details. Just make a cash mode payment. So let's show you that transaction again. Ed and Arjita will hold their phones up so you can see them pairing. To make a cash mode transaction, the payer and the receiver press the big button, sliding to pay and to receive. The phones now pair, and the chat head appears in the left-hand corner. They enter the amount for the payment, proceed to pay. Again, Arjita will be prompted to enter her UPI PIN, and the transaction will be processed. This is all between two phones sitting in close proximity to each other. Transaction is successful. So all you need to do, bring two phones together, and you can see how simple, easy, intuitive, and how Tez it is. We think this is a really different experience, and we're really excited about it. Cash mode, and all the new transactions it can enable. But right now, I'd like you to take a look at Arjita's screen. You'll see she has a notification telling her she's earned a scratch card. When we were building Tez, we wanted to make it a fun way to pay. And scratch cards are just one of the ways we've tried to inject some fun into the app. For any transaction over 50 rupees, both the sender and the receiver have a chance to earn a scratch card. You can win 50, 60, 100, 200, anything up to 1,000 rupees with a scratch card. In this case, both Ed and Arjita have earned a scratch card. Why don't we see if they've won anything? They both won today. 61 rupees and 24 rupees. Congratulations, Ed and Arjita. In addition to scratch cards, every week, anyone who's made a Tez payment could win a lakh with our Lucky Sundays draw. And if you refer a friend to Tez, both of you will get 51 rupees with your referral's first transaction. Thanks for your help, Ed. Let's switch gear for a second and talk about businesses. We want merchants and service providers of all sizes, big and small, online and offline, to be able to go digital. Let's start with the places where we pay cash every day. Say the nearby Kirana store or a commute in an auto rickshaw. These merchants can accept Tez payments now, just like Arjita and Ed showed us. We think the combination of getting paid directly into your bank account, using cash mode for nearby payments, and the fact that Tez is free to use will be pretty compelling here. But let's consider some situations where paying gets a little more complicated, whether it's for online shopping, bill payments, or buying train or air tickets. Today, people are shopping online more than before, but not all sites can be trusted, and each has a very different payment experience. Once shoppers decide on their purchase, there are multiple hoops to jump through, filling in card or personal details each time they want to transact. We believe this experience should be better. So today, we're delighted to announce the Tez for Business program. Tez for Business has 3 primary goals. The first is to highlight known merchants so that users can shop with confidence. Second, just make it extremely easy for anyone to pay for something on the mobile web. Third is to give shoppers and businesses an easy way to engage with each other, such as discovering offers through our business channels. So let's talk about how Tez makes paying online seamless. Imagine Arjita is buying some bus tickets from Redbus, one of our Tez for Business partners. She's traveling from Pune to Mumbai over the Dussehra weekend. She chooses her tickets, then when she's ready to check out, she simply taps the Tez button. She then hits pay. She checks her personal details appearing through Chrome, and she's then prompted to go through the UPI flow. She checks the amount, and she will be asked to enter her UPI PIN. Again, while the transaction's processing, we'll be running the security checks in the background. Once the order's confirmed, she's returned to the Redbus site itself, where she can see confirmation of her bus ticket order. And you'll notice she didn't have to fill in any credit card details, and she wasn't redirected to a separate payments page. Because of our deep integration with Chrome, she was dropped directly into the payments flow, making it fast and simple. If Arjita was getting something delivered, her delivery address can also be stored and auto-filled through the secure Chrome Web Payments interface. And as always, everything is backed by Google's multi-layered security. Setting up this function is easy for merchants too. All they have to do is add a very few lines of JavaScript to their mobile website. We think this will make online payments simpler, faster, and more secure for consumers and merchants. And that brings us to the final feature that we're going to show you for Tez for Business Partners. We call it business channels. A business channel is essentially a merchant's version of a chat head. It's a way for consumers and merchants to engage with each other right in the Tez app. Businesses can customize their channel to deliver offers, enable customer interactions, or a range of other functions. But all of this is controlled by the user. You decide what you want to see and whether a business is able to transact with you and communicate with you. Let's look at the example of Arjita and Redbus. Now that Arjita's paid for her Redbus tickets, the Redbus chat head appears in the business section of her home screen. In this channel, Arjita's last transaction will be showing there, her 4 bus tickets to Mumbai. But what's so special about this channel is that it's not just a past transaction record. It's also a way for users to interact with Redbus. For example, you'll see that Arjita has received a message with a discount on her next bus ticket purchase. And take a look at these buttons at the bottom of the screen. These have been customized by Redbus and can take on different functionality for different merchants. It could be a link back to the mobile site, or even details on how to get customer service. In Redbus's case, this link takes you directly back into their site. In the case of PVR Cinemas, for example, it would take you to the booking confirmation for your movie tickets. All of this means that merchants have another way of driving engagement. Users can have deep interaction with their favorite businesses without needing to install multiple apps. This is great for users and great for businesses. Thank you, Arjita. Here's another example of how business channels work. Rather than sending out millions of SMS or email reminders to their users when their DTH balance is low, Dish TV can use their business channel to send a smart reminder via Tez that lets their users top up straight from in the app. Dish TV can take this one step further and give offers like prepay or upgraded services. It's a win-win for everyone. Users get access to great offers and a much more convenient payment method, and Dish TV gets more on-time payments. We expect many businesses to be on Tez for Business, but the user will only see the businesses they've transacted with and who they choose to have a relationship with. In other words, not spammy. Our launch partners, Dish TV, PVR Cinemas, and Redbus, will be joined by a number of other businesses like Jet Airways and Domino's in the coming weeks. And we're delighted to be working with a range of partners, from BillDesk to our existing advertisers, to online e-commerce networks PayU and Shopify, to bring mobile web payments with Tez to thousands of India's businesses. We're launching the broader program today and look forward to working with businesses throughout India to make Tez part of your mobile website. Now, I want to close by talking briefly about the most important thing to many people when they're making payments: security. We've brought to bear all of Google's global expertise, including our learning from other payments products like Android Pay. We believe in a defense-in-depth approach to security, and we call this collection of security features the Tez Shield. First of all, Tez is built on the foundations of India's most trusted banks, with all of their built-in security measures, and each transaction is secured with your UPI PIN. Second, Tez is protected by your phone security method, such as the OS lock or fingerprint. If you share your phone with your family or kids, you can also use an additional PIN to avoid accidental purchases. And lastly, Tez has an advanced risk and fraud engine that uses Google's cutting-edge machine learning. It works 24/7 using multiple signals to help verify the identity of the user and detect spam and fraud, highlighting risks and allowing you to block others from your Tez account. Tez Shield protects against a wide range of risks, including unauthorized use and misuse from lost, stolen, or unsafe devices. If you ever need more help, our customer service team is available 24 hours every day by phone or chat support and can be reached from right within the app. So whether you make payments online or offline, via cash mode, or to businesses, friends, and family across India, Tez keeps your transactions secure. With that, let me now hand it back to Cesar. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Okay, so let me recap what we've shared with you today. Tez is a simple and secure way to pay and to engage with people and businesses online and offline, big and small. Today, it's based on bank-to-bank transactions via UPI, and in the future, we're hoping to get people to pay with a wide range of payment options, including credit cards and wallets. We will have more updates on that later this year. You've seen how cash mode works, facilitating nearby payments and making it as simple as cash. And of course, paying someone you know is easy and intuitive, straight from your phone's contact list. And best of all, Tez is free to use for all users. And we've built Tez around you, making it easy to start a new conversation with people and businesses you transact with the most. Lastly, we have the Tez Shield, so you feel secure and confident no matter who you're transacting with. And you don't need top-of-the-line smartphone specs to use Tez. Tez is just 7 MBs and works on the vast majority of India's smartphones, all the way back to Android KitKat, and on iPhones, again, all the way back to iPhone 4S. You can download Tez today from Google Play for Android phones and the App Store for iOS. And to make it even easier for you to get Tez, we've worked with our hardware partners, Lava, Micromax, Nokia, Panasonic, and Zolo, who are helping us get Tez onto as many of their new phones as possible. Many thanks to them. But this is just a start for us. Tez isn't just about payments. It's about being a holistic payments and commerce platform. Imagine a scenario in the near future where Tez enables small offline businesses, like your neighborhood general store, to come online, to customize offers for you, even let you bargain with them. And then, when you're ready, to complete the payment, all on Tez. Essentially bringing today's offline experience seamlessly online. That is what we believe will truly transform how people buy and sell things in India. We're so excited to get this into the hands of people around India, learn from their experiences, and make the app solve more of their everyday needs. And now, I'd like to invite the Honorable Finance Minister of India, Shri Arun Jaitley, to come on stage to help us officially launch Tez. Please, everyone, join us in welcoming the Minister. Thank you for coming, Minister. We would be honored if you could help us do the first auspicious transaction. We'll be doing a transaction from my account to Rajan for 11 rupees. That's an auspicious number. 11. The Minister will just press OK. No. Press proceed and then type in the UPI PIN. While the UPI PIN is being typed in, we're running a bunch of background checks as we showed you. And then when the Minister clicks OK, the first transaction is done. With that, thank you. Thank you, Minister, for helping us inaugurate this. We would be honored if you could share a few words with us.
I'm delighted to be here at the launch of the Tez, which is the new venture that the Google has undertaken. I recollect in the month of January, when Sundar Pichai and Cesar had come and met me, this is an idea that they first discussed at that stage. And if we recollect, January was the period where, starting from the 8th of November, with the announcement of demonetization, the process of remonetization was on, and the need to replace cash transactions with digital transactions, the debate was at the peak. And of course, the Google team was extremely keen because they saw a great potential both in the economy and the businesses in India in joining this campaign. We are today in September, and with the technology evolution, they've come out with this app, which, as has been explained in the last few minutes, perhaps becomes the simplest form of monetary transaction. I've always believed that the need for finding alternatives to a high cash economy was never on the center stage of India's economic agenda. This was never an issue which was seriously debated either in parliament or in governments. And we had all got into the habit of living with a high cash economy. And we were all paying the costs of that high cash economy. A lower tax base, several areas of life where cash was the only accepted mode, 2 sets of account books. And this had become a normal practice in businesses. And 8th of November last year, I think it was a shock to many in the Indian economy. But it was something which was waiting to happen. And after that, we've seen the debate evolve itself. There's been, in some circles, a lack of understanding because some identified the whole idea of finding alternatives to the cash economy as to only how much money reaches the banks and how much gets finally confiscated. I've always had 3 important red lines as far as my own analysis is concerned. The first being how much in terms of sheer volumes of the cash that the Reserve Bank prints are we able to squeeze over a period of time. As we stand today already, the high denominational currency has squeezed in terms of both volumes, and it's a process which is, the squeeze process is something which is over a period of time going to happen in the natural course of the economy itself. The second important test is, as a consequence of this, how much are we able to expand the number of assessees in the base of taxation in India, both direct and indirect. And the third important test is, in terms of sheer volumes, what is going to be the increase in the number of the digital transactions itself. Now, obviously, in the month of November, December, and January, early this year, a lot of people went in for digitization in terms of a mode of payment more out of compulsion rather than finding it a more convenient method to transact. But that compulsion itself created a habit for many. We reached a peak figure, then it marginally slipped and is now bound to pick up again. And the exercise that Google has undertaken today, I think in addition to the entire effort of the UPI platform itself, various government moves in this direction, I think is going to, over the pace of the next few months, going to make a major advance in that direction. These three criteria, I think, will always remain as the major measures or tests to see how far we have progressed. I am very clear in my mind that on all three counts, both in the medium term and in the long term, the advancement is going to be in a positive direction. And I think now time has come with an application as simple as this, that what started as a compulsion becomes a matter of convenience and eventually a matter of spending habit as far as Indian people are concerned. As the technology advancements takes place, and this facility is available not only on the smartphones, but eventually also on the feature phones, I think that will be the critical jump which will be required in this area. Let me once again congratulate the entire Google team that in a short span of 8 to 9 months, they've achieved what they had planned. And I'm sure with the kind of advents in technology which do take place, this movement is going to increase much faster for the better. Thank you and wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much, Minister, for your kind words, your support and encouragement. Could I request you to stay on stage for a little bit for a photo opportunity with our banking partners? I'd like to invite Mr. Kumar from State Bank of India, Mr. Madhivanan from ICICI Bank, Mr. Rao from HDFC Bank, Mr. Singh from Axis Bank, and Dr. Rajendran from NPCI to please join us on the stage with the Minister for a very quick photo opportunity. Go that side. So. Thank you so much, Minister. Thank you so much, partners. The Minister will be leaving now, but we will have press Q&A right after this. So I would like to invite you all to explore the demo areas we have set up for you outside. We have a bunch of people from the TEZ team who are ready to show the product to you and answer any questions you have. Friends, today is the start of a long journey for us. We want to make sure TEZ is the simplest choice for paying or receiving money, from going out shopping or for paying back friends, from big amounts to small everyday purchases. And with the launch of TEZ and our continuing commitment, we hope to do our bit to enable a cashless India, a digital India, a new India. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Check. Thank you for joining us for the keynote today. The press are invited to stay in the main session room. This is the room that you're in right now for a Q&A session that will begin shortly. For the rest of you, please enjoy our demo station. Check. The friends from the press are reminded again that we are going to have a question and answer session very shortly. So those who are interested in a Q&A session, please stay where you are and settle down so that we can start this quickly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to start the press Q&A. Dana's joining. Please, if you could settle down.
Check, check. Can I request all the friends to the press to please settle down so that we can start the Q&A quickly?
We live?
Ladies and gentlemen, Caesar and Diane are waiting to take your questions. So if you can please settle down, that'd be great.
Great. Let us also settle down. Thank you all for coming. I think it's been a really exciting morning. If people want to come to the front, please feel free to come. We will be circulating a mic around. So if you have questions, if you don't mind just raising your hand, we will come to you. Great. It's actually been a really exciting morning for us because, as you would know, a number of enterprising journalists and press found out about our internal links as the product was going live. So, you know, the links went out. Some people found out our product links, our different documents. As you all know, like when a product goes live, it's like bringing on a huge engine live, and various parts were coming live. And we were actually waiting for the finance minister to announce before the product's going live. So
still in the process of building up.
It's all been in the process of building up. People have been using the products. So I wanted to share with you some early numbers that the team just gave me. This is all the people who've got the product before they've even officially launched it or received it. We have around 50,000 users as of now who have processed about 16,000 transactions, and about 11 lakhs of GMV has already passed through the system. I think that's a very auspicious number. And on average, people have done about 67 transactions. I need to look at that. That sounds pretty high. No, that doesn't sound right. But about 11 lakhs of GMV, 16,000 transactions from about 50,000 users. This is still early before the product has actually gone live, so I'm just very grateful to those users, and hopefully once they read your coverage, they'll give the product a try and see what they like about it.
Caesar, we have the first question here.
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you all to settle down? Thank you.
Good morning, I am Balkrishna from Ashtak TV channel. Just wanted to know the interface seems to be very similar to the Bheem app that the government has already launched, and you are using the same UPI. So how it is different from Bheem, which the government has been promoting?
Yeah. So there are parts of the product that are specified by UPI and NPCI. So where you see the interface for adding a PIN, those will be the same across any UPI app. But the overall interface on Tez is very different. As we talked about, we've based it on a chat-like interface, which is very unique among not just payment apps, but also apps in general. It's not a chat app, but it has that chat-like interface. I don't know, Dana, if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think actually if you accept the NPCI specified screens, you'll find it's a very, very different look and feel to the app, and the stages that we take you through are very different. I mean, obviously there are some similarities to all payments apps in that you're sending money, but we hope that it has a very different look and feel, and also a very different pace.
Bheem also has a feature. There is another question. Bheem also has a feature wherein the people who are not having internet in their phone still can use it, offline mode. So is there any plan, or still is there any feature in Tez built in which people who have no access to internet can use it?
So look, we've just started today. And over the next few weeks, months, years, you will see a lot more features and a lot more new kinds of additions. I think that's a great idea, and we'll definitely work on it.
Yeah, hi. Just wanted to know, how are you planning to monetize it? Is it going to be via merchants or via customers?
So if you know anything about Google, you'll know that we first build a great product, We want to make sure users love our product and that they're finding value from it. And then we think about or work on monetization. So right now, we're still at that phase where we're trying to build a product that everyone loves. And we'll think about monetization and add to it later.
You talked about
Sorry.
You talked about cards and wallets being added, during the course of the year. Is there a specific timeline to that?
I think we'll be looking at that for over the course of the rest of the year. We don't have a specific timetable for that at the moment.
Okay, and while this is a product developed in India for India, are you looking at taking this to other markets as well?
So at the moment, our focus is very much on India first. But clearly, we think this is an exciting product, and we think it has relevance to a number of markets that may have similar characteristics to India. So we'll be looking at that in due course.
Yeah.
Okay,
If I can also add one more thing, this product was developed globally. We obviously had a lot of insights from our Google team and teams in India. But there are parts of this product that have been developed by offices and teams all around the world.
Okay.
Caesar, right here, 1 second.
Okay, so I'm Rubina from NDTV. Just wanted to ask that, do you not think that Google is late to this party? You know, there are already payment apps like Paytm that have actually covered almost everywhere. So how does Google plan to take on such apps? And is there a marketing campaign in mind to actually make users switch from, say, apps like Paytm to Google Pays?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, we think it's very early in the game. If you think about what portion of the industry is still cash-based, you'll realize, we're in a very nascent stage. And the opportunity is huge ahead. And really, not just us, but many other players will have to innovate and work very hard to get us to that future of digital India where we're off cash. So we're actually pretty early, we feel, and there's a lot to be done here. As to talking about marketing, obviously, we want to get our word out. We want to have people know about the product and give it a try. First part of that is doing an event like this, and then you'll see us do more.
Caesar here. Hi. Two questions. One, the number of smartphone players that you will be partnering with in the future, if you can give a kind of an update on that. And secondly, the minister mentioned that the product will be available on feature phones as well. So can you give can you throw some light on that as well?
Yeah. So your first question was the smartphone partners?
Yes, existing ones and in future partners.
So I think we obviously have our launch partners who are both terrific partners, but also going to be very helpful to us in launching across their phones. We're open to working with as wide a range of partners as possible on that. In terms of the feature phones, at the moment you'll probably know that UPI itself doesn't support feature phones. So as soon as UPI itself is able to support feature phones, we'll start working on that functionality.
So to clarify what Minu said was, the minister said he would like to see this happen. We would also love to see that happen.
So, Caesar, right here.
So, hi, I'm Shrivats from Business Line newspaper. If you could throw some light on your partnership with the banks. You mentioned 4 banks, whereas almost 55 banks are on UPI. So what are the aspects that these 4 bring to the table?
So I think, first of all, it's very important to distinguish between the banks that work with UPI and therefore are interoperable with TAZE and the ones that act as our core payment service providers. So TAZE will work with accounts from all 55 UPI-enabled banks. So we've built a completely interoperable product as per MPCI specifications, so it will work with accounts from all of those 55 banks. What our 4 key banking partners are is the payment service provider function. So far, everyone else in India has had a single banking partner for that. This is the first app to launch with 4 payment service providers. So the underlying connection to UPI and the payment infrastructure is provided by 4 banks rather than 1. We've chosen to work with India's 4 largest banks, who we have had a fantastic partnership with. Having those multiple providers gives the system more resilience, more redundancy, and creates more choice for our users.
True, but how does it play out given the fact that these 4 banks have their own UPI-powered wallets?
So I think the way the banks are looking at this is they believe in UPI and they believe in the payments ecosystem. It's in everybody's interests across the economy and the banks that people continue to progress along the road to digital payments. So they see this as just another part of building their ecosystem and creating more digital payment use amongst users across India. So it's a positive thing for them.
Thanks.
Hi, Hi, Shruti with Indian Express. I wanted to know, Beam app syncs with the device, it binds with the device, and I noticed that in Tez it also says whether you when you're, but does the Tez also do the same thing, because it requires that I have the same SIM as the one linked to the device, to the bank account, and it also, I think in the settings it also says remove this from the device when I'm say changing phones. Can you just talk about those features?
Thank you.
So I think for us, there are a couple of principles here. The first is adhering to the UPI framework, which has a series of regulations around how VPAs are attached and unattached, and the timeframes and the regulations around those. And the second is our concern for user privacy and user control. And those are the two defining issues. So those are the two principles that govern that.
Yeah, it does bind, and that's actually a UPI requirement. It's something specified, so all UPI apps have to work in that manner.
Will that pose a security issue?
No, the question here was, if I switch phones, do I have to unbind before I bind? No, we'll automatically do that. So when your latest active Tez is the one that is going to be active. And also, if, for example, you lose your phone or it gets stolen, then you can always disable the phone from far away and from remotely. And so there's a number of these security features that we built into Tez, because we know security is one of the most important things when people are using payment apps.
Sir, right here.
Hi, this is Aarti from VC Circle. So we are seeing that you are giving a lot of rewards, to attract customers. So can you tell us like the marketing budget that you have allocated for this project?
I'm afraid we don't discuss the details of our marketing budget.
But you seem to be doing a lot of things, to attract the same base of users from Paytm, MobiKwik, and other, Bheem app and all. So who do you see as the biggest competition?
So I think the first thing I'd say there is really to reiterate Caesar's point. We see our primary competitor as cash. This is just the start of building India's digital payments ecosystem, and there's a huge amount of scope both for growth and for innovation. So we think there's plenty of room for many, many players here. So when we set out, we don't see ourselves as competing against any particular other provider.
In fact, I think we all are competing against cash. Right? Cash, because of its prevalence and its simplicity, is something that we have to create digital payments that are easier than that. We can't force people off it. It has to be something that people want to move off. So therefore, we feel we, other players in the market who are there, are all trying to work together to get us to this future.
And do you think, given that Google's entry and the kind of accessibility that Google has in the Indian market or anywhere in the globe, do you think that Google's entry can mark the wipeout of some of the players in the space?
Look, as I again said, the opportunity here is so big. There is enough room for people to innovate, and not just room. We need everybody to innovate, right? Competition is good. It keeps making all the products better. We are very, very, very early in this game. India is still a cash-based economy, and for us to move forward, we have to look at how to expand this pie and get more people into the system. So that's how we're thinking about it. The big thing here, though, is because we are basing this on UPI, one of the beauties of UPI is that it's an open standard. So as UPI expands, whether it's through Tez or through another of the UPI apps, the system and the entire ecosystem becomes better for everyone. And that's really powerful. Because of this interoperability between all the different apps on UPI, it's not a zero-sum game. It's a game that improves and makes the world better for everyone.
What's the market share that you are aiming? Maybe that.
If you know Google, we won't tell you any market shares.
Gautam from Business Today. How will Google make money? What's the monetization plan for this?
I think Caesar alluded to this. As Google, our focus is on building a really, really exciting app that is simple, secure, and adds real value to users. Google tends not to think about monetization in any early stages of an app. We believe if we build a really exciting, compelling product that adds value, we can think about that down the track. So that isn't our primary focus. We're about building a great product for users.
My question is on data privacy. Is this app, when I say I agree, mines data from my phone? Question number 2. Is that you are using servers based in India under the Indian jurisdiction? Point number 3. Does these servers have mirror servers abroad, out of jurisdiction of India? Thank you.
So first of all, privacy is extremely important to us. Even more important, the security of our users' data is very important. You mentioned the point about, does this take your data? Today, if you use any app, any product, any service, you are generating data, right? So having data is neither something unique nor something exclusive, right? Everybody has data. So the right question to be asked is, what is being done with your data, right? And how are the companies using your data? We use data to make the product better for you. And we will do this always with your consent and with your approval. But what's more important is we always give every user across our products the ability to, at any point of time, delete all their data, to take their data, or do whatever they want with the data, because this data belongs to you. So that's something that's actually built into the product. It's part of our ethos. That's how we're going to be treating it. Your second question around localization, we're following all the rules and regulations of the land. Right now, this data is in the Google Cloud, which is very secure, and we don't talk about where the Google Cloud is situated or which parts of the Google Cloud are where.
No, it is in the jurisdiction of Indian courts, yes or no?
It's as per jurisdiction. Obviously, when we launch a product, all our products follow the rule of the law and are under the jurisdiction of whichever courts have precedence there.
Say, if I say no to data mining for this app, can I use this app, yes or no?
I don't know what you mean by no to data mining.
When I agree to terms and conditions and I say I don't allow you to mine data out of my phone, can I use your app, yes or no?
So right now, that question from a product perspective is very hard to answer. We will give you controls. You can delete your data at any point of time. You can take it away. There is really like no way for you to use an app without having data being used on it. I mean, when you look at your chat conversation, if you want to see the previous conversation, that data has to be stored somewhere. So it's part of the user experience. You can't take these two separately. So what I'm saying is, you can use the product, and we will give you full control over when you want to get out of this product, delete your data, and whatever you want to do with your data. So, by the way, thank you for that question. I think that's a really, really important question.
Right. Sure. Yes, so you mentioned about the choice of going with UPI because it is interoperable. We've also seen that there are other providers who have apps on UPI that have also got a wallet license. Are you going to apply for a wallet license? How do you look at the two options? I'm sure you must have considered them.
We don't have any plans right now, but we are looking at working with the wallet providers. For us, we see ourselves as a platform. So the platform is all about the user experience of enabling people to pay people nearby. It's about helping people pay people helping people pay businesses. I think what is below the covers is the payment network, and we are not in the payment network. In this case, we're working with the banks. We're happy to work with the credit card vendors, as we talked about, and we'll work with the wallet vendors also.
Okay. So the other thing is that, like for example, Samsung has got its own VPA called PingPay. Google specifically chosen not to have its own VPAs, or is that also a part of the plan going forward?
So the current NPCI rules are that only banks can own those. So PingPay is actually owned by Samsung's payment service provider, not by Samsung. At the moment, the banks are the exclusive owners of the VPAs.
Okay. Also, where do you stand on the issue of MDR when you're working with merchants? Is that a mode of monetization that you'll be looking at, because UPI merchant transactions have an MDR involved? Is there a split that you get from the banks? How does this work?
MDR is charged by the banks, as you know, and we don't get a split from it.
Okay.
Caesar, right here.
Thanks.
Hi, Vivin this side. I have few questions. The first one is that, are you planning to do something with the NFC payment? Are you bringing something if I am going to pay in a restaurant or something, and there is something, first thing. Second thing is that, are you bringing what about the GST? If I'm paying someone, the money I have to pay, and where the GST will be going on. Third thing is that, if I'm paying someone, which bank I want to accept, is it my choice? I have so these are the three questions.
So first question, we chose not to go with NFC very explicitly because very few phones in India have NFC. Only about 16 to 18% of phones have NFC, and a very large number of point-of-sale terminals also don't have NFC. So which is why we built this special protocol called Audio QR using sound. As you know, we have a very good NFC technology that we use called Android Pay. But in India, we realized to get to most of the users, we need to reach not just the users who have the most expensive, fancy phones, but also all users who have existing phones. So that was the first question on NFC.
I was going to say that that's absolutely been our priority, is to focus on the breadth of users across NPI. Obviously, in future, if we bring in credit card functionality, it would be entirely possible for us to bring that NFC functionality as well.
Yeah. I think your second question
GST.
was GST. GST is going to be charged by whatever the system or the app that and the bank that the merchants are using. We're not in that flow.
Choice of bank.
Yes, the choice of bank is always your choice. So if whatever you can choose between whatever bank you have, and you can change your bank accounts as well as your payment service provider.
Caesar, right up in the front there.
Yeah, hi, Newly Purnell from the Wall Street Journal. Could you provide a little more clarity? I know that Google has done specific projects for India, like railway Wi-Fi. Is this the first app of its kind developed in India for India? I mean, I know it's developed globally, but that's the first question. And then secondly, on the data, in the same way that Google uses search data on users to target ads, would that kind of data be used to target ads? Google Tez data be used to target ads?
Yeah. So the first question was, we're building this India first. We have actually in the past built features that were for India first and then taken it globally. For example, YouTube Offline. 2 years back, we launched YouTube Offline in India, and we realized it works for users globally, and we've now taken it to 60, 70, 80 countries. Google Maps Offline was another one. We built YouTube Go, which is a version of our of YouTube that we are trying out in this market, and we'll take it globally. I think right now we're very focused with Tez on India, but there are many countries which exhibit similar characteristics to India. Low credit card penetration, low number of point of sale devices, lack of NFC, and for all those countries, we think we will have a really good offering at some point. Sorry, on the data, we don't have any plans right now.
Hi.
To your left.
Sorry. This is Adamya from Digit. My question is that in your terms of service, you state that if I'm a receiver, my Aadhaar details and my bank account details are going to be stored on the sender's Tez account. How does that work? Can you please explain?
I'm glad you asked that, because I saw that arise on Twitter earlier today.
Yes.
So to be very clear, there is a feature called Pay by Aadhaar in UPI. It's an optional feature that was listed by UPI. It's not a mandated feature. If it was mandated, we would have had to do it. So, but there's a lack of clarity, regulatory, legal clarity around how to use Aadhaar, what to do with that. So we chose not to implement that feature. So there is no Pay by Aadhaar in our product. If you look at some other apps which use UPI, you will see the ability to do that. We are working with our regulatory authorities, with NPCI, with our legal team to understand the parameters of this. Of course, if NPCI mandates it, then we have to do it. But if it's an optional feature, we want to first understand and get clarity on this before we add it. We added it to our TOS, to be clear, because we felt if there was a possibility of this coming in, users, when they first download the app, is when some of you may read the TOS. So we wanted people to be aware of it, that this may come in. Of course, when the new feature comes, or any new feature comes, again, if you read our TOS, you'll find we will notify you when there is a major change that affects anything to do with the terms of service.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
It's right here.
Hi, I'm Kulbhushan from Hindustan Times. Google Tez is still a standalone device application to download. Do you think rather an OS level integration for payment solution would have been a far better idea? And also, will there be a light version of Google Tez?
So Google Tez actually is very light. It's 7 MBs already. I don't know really how to make it any lighter. But we are constantly trying to figure out how to make it lighter. As for app versus OS, we wanted it to get out to all the phones. So, if you try to build something into OS, it takes much longer to get to. A lot of people won't have new phones. So we've designed it as an app so that, the maximum number of users could get it today. As you know, in India, a lot of people have phones that are older or retain it for a long period of time, and we really want this to be a product that works for everyone.
Yeah, hi. Just wanted to know, is it the first time that you are incentivizing using Google, like giving scratch cards and all? And secondly, what are the offline tie-ups you're looking at? Any government tie-ups with the railways or anyone else for that matter?
Let me take the first part, and Dana, maybe you can help on the second one. this isn't like when you go to many Google products, you'll often get like, if you use Google Play Music, for example, in certain markets, you get 3 months free to try out the product. It's a very standard way. Scratch cards, we just thought were fun. We actually built it so because we thought it would be an interesting way to get some pleasure and delight. And when we tried it out on our internal Googlers, they loved it. So we decided to put it into the feature. And we realized with products like this where there's a new habit being formed, people have to feel happy about using it. And so scratch cards, the lucky Sundays, these are all sort of things that we thought would be more fun and interesting rather than just being a plain old boring payments app.
In terms of partnerships, I mean, our aim is to make Tez reachable for as many people as possible. So we're already working with a wide range of partners. We're extremely open to working with more partners. We don't have any very specific ones to announce beyond the ones we announced today, but we're very open to any kind of partnership that we think is compelling.
And this is an area where we're working with our bank partners, for example, to reach out to offline merchants who they have deep relationships with.
Just to add to this offline question, you reaching out to these Kirana stores that you talked about, you're also using QR code. So will that be the Bharat QR code which is interoperable, and would you separately be also reaching out to these small shops, these chai walas that you talked about?
So as soon as Bharat QR is finalized and operational, we will be using that. At the moment, within P2P, we're using a QR code generated by the app itself. But as soon as Bharat QR is up and running, we aim to integrate with that.
And yes, we will be reaching out to offline merchants, online merchants, other kinds.
Hi, I'm Niloy Banerjee from BizInfotech. I currently work with Paytm for the survey after the demonetization to understand more about how the wallet market is going to work in India. I call this market as the Indian market as "Fayda jab tak hum hai tab tak." So, which means to you is
can you repeat that? Fayda jab tak?
"Fayda jab tak hum hai tab tak." So, after the demonetization rule, what happened is I can share many surveys. It's a long question, but I'll just give a gist of that. That 40% of Indian countrymen still don't use a bank account, which is not a sustainable, figures for Indian growing economy. After having the demonetization, second tier, third tier cities got complete into chaos and didn't even understand what is a mobile wallet is, and the education was a problem. In that scenario, there are more other things, but I just wanted to ask you, in that scenario, how Tez can be a sustainable app or a partner in Indian ecosystem?
Look, this is the start of a long journey. As I was talking about earlier, we're very early in the system because many people in India don't fully understand the value of digital payments and digital systems. So we're getting started today. This is a deep long-term commitment for us, right? We're going to have to work at this very hard. Other players in the market will have to work very hard. But if you look 10 years down into the future, will anybody bet that India will be a digital-based system? No. The only doubt is how long will it take? What's interesting to me is if you look at the youth in India, and the pace at which they're embracing smartphones and the pace at which they're embracing new technologies and new products, it's really inspirational. So I am very optimistic. I'm very hopeful. Yes, it's going to take us time. It is hard, but we feel if we build the right kind of products, if we keep innovating, if we keep working hard, we will see a future in India where everybody will be going digital.
Hey Cesar, Ivan here from Killer Features. I wanted to ask two questions. First is, you showed the Chrome integration there. Would there be same integration with the apps that we use, say, from a Redbus app or something like that?
Yes.
Also, would we be able to pay on Google Play Store through these, like carrier integration or something like that?
So great question. So yes, you'll be able to pay through apps too. You will be able to pay on Google Play also. We don't have it right now. We prioritized, Google Play has a number of payment options, as you already know. We prioritized on the areas where there were bigger needs, like cash mode. Right? There really isn't any kind of capability today to make a digital payment without sharing your personal information with someone standing right next to you. So we felt that need was very important. We focused on the online businesses because, again, vast majority of online e-commerce in India is cash on delivery. And we felt if we could change that even a little bit, that would dramatically help advance online commerce here. But we are working with Google Play and we will come out with that integration fairly soon.
Again, so my question is, would you be linking it to your other products, and would it be linked to Google Ads? Google Ads.
So we have no plans right now. As to will it be linked to other products, for example, it's linked to Chrome right now, but it's built around the user experience to try to make it to let you use online commerce and transact more easily. So that's what we are focused on. We're very focused right now on the user experience to try to make the product be really simple and fun and useful for users here. It is not linked. No.
Can we get the last question?
I've got the last question, and it's an awkward question to ask. With all that focus and prioritizing for the breadth of the users, do you put Android Pay on the back burner for India?
So I think, as Cesar mentioned, when we thought about what product to bring to India, in Android Pay in its current form poses some challenges. There's very low credit card penetration. NFC is low penetration both on phones and in point-of-sale terminals. So we didn't prioritize those features. We are working with Android Pay, and as we move into areas like adding cards, we'll obviously look to add those kinds of features to the app.
So would you look forward to launch it as a parallel product?
No.
We don't think of these as parallel products at Google. We tend to build technologies and then figure out how to create the best possible solution for the right kind of user. So, you know, when we bring a product to market, we will be bringing together all the different technologies, some of which have been developed by one team, some by another team, some in one office, some in another office, to bring together the best possible experience. So when we come out with cards, you will see that feature.
Thank you.
Thank you. They are still around, but I will invite you to go and check out the product. We have fantastic demos lined up for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Attention please. दिल खोल के कहीं करते spend, कहीं करते हैं खर्चा with argument. We are same but different. We are same but different. जी हाँ, ध्यान से हम दे घर का किराया, छुट्टे लेने का टाइम न भाया. Same but different. अपनों की झोली में भर दें सेंटिमेंट. Oh my God. वही फ्रेंड का उधार इन इंस्टॉलमेंट. We are same.
बड़ा पेमेंट ऐसे तो छोटा वैसे. अरे भाई सिंपली दो पैसे. डाउनलोड तेज बाय गूगल. पेमेंट करें सीधे अपने बैंक अकाउंट से. गूगल की स्मार्ट सिक्योरिटी तेज शील्ड के साथ. तेज बाय गूगल. मनी मेड सिंपल.